Welcome back to Battle of the All-Stars 2018. We've got our second game of the day here on Saturday. It's Maine versus West Virginia. My name is Champ Unkind.
And I'm Chad with the New England Roller Derby Report.
And we're going to be getting started here in just a moment as we already have two jammers on the line. I see T. Cook out there for West Virginia.
And we've got Meowing them down for Team Maine.
Right, Meow?
Right, Meow. Right, Meow. She's at the line.
So if you are just tuning in, you missed a great game in our first bout, overtime, North Carolina over Tennessee. And I don't know about you, Chad, but I think this game could potentially be just like the first.
You know, I really feel like the weekend itself is sort of building up to a whole lot of those games as the seeding works out. And we get to that round-robin phase. This is what we wanted it to do. This is the design of the tournament.
And here we go. One to the inside, one to the outside. T. Cook being pushed now to the outside as they approach the pivot line. Good blocking by Maine in front, one to beat. And T. Cook is through for our first lead jammer of the game.
T. Cook has been phenomenal this weekend.
Absolutely. So fast, so agile.
Huge part of the success of West Virginia.
Meow gets out of the pack on her initial pass. Tiptoe to the inside for T. Cook. Hits her hips, calls it off. And the first four on the board go to West Virginia.
We'll see what Maine does with their jammer rotation today. Yesterday in their win against Saskatchewan, they mixed it up a little bit. They brought in some of their heavier jammers. We'll see if they do that today. We didn't see Dash yesterday in that last game. We do see her right now as she's taking the line.
Yeah, she's going up against Flux Decapitator, who is a veteran of the line, one of the more veteran West Virginia jammers. Tiptoes to the inside, and two in a row, lead jammer for West Virginia.
Hard dash. Almost looked like she had a false start there, jumping up onto the line.
Whoa, great move there by, that'd be number 39 of Maine to push out Flux Decapitator.
39 is Sketchy Lou Weasel from Maine Roller Derby down in southern Maine.
Dash gets out of the pack, but 5 points and a grand slam picked up by Flux Decapitator. So 9-0 with just under 18.5 remaining. West Virginia on top.
Wiley takes the star for Team Maine.
And that sure rolls by for West Virginia. She had an MVP performance in her last game. West Virginia in yellow and blue, Maine in neon green and black. And if you're colorblind, I can't do anything about that. I'm sorry.
Well, at least the black will still show up.
Yeah, that would. I think there's a little bit of a contrast. Yeah. She rolls by at the front of the pack, trying to push against that three wall. One in the box currently for Maine. Nobody in the box for West Virginia.
She's able to split past Head of Flame and Oxidizer. They fold back to try to help out Wiley. Wiley takes a shoulder to the jaw, and she's knocked down. Back up on her feet now.
Still got that three wall in front, and she rolls by for 5 points and a grand slam. West Virginia picking right up where she left off in the last game.
Yeah, it's like they didn't stop at all. Maine struggling a little bit here this morning to get their jammers out.
She rolls by back in the pack to the outside, untouched, completely untouched, unless you're talking about air molecules. 5 points and a grand slam for West Virginia.
If I was going to make a prediction on what Maine might do here, where they've struggled now, and this is the third jam in a row, I think maybe we see Peroxide, who's kind of a heavy-hitting jammer.
Yeah, she is very
strong. Maybe she takes the star. I see Zell Dangerous with the pivot star, or the pivot stripe rather. So
at the front of the pack, though, able to cause a penalty, a multiplayer block. Another 5 points on a grand slam for West Virginia before the star pass was completed to Assassin. So 15 points on the board on that jam for She Rolls By. West Virginia up 24-0 with about 16.5 remaining in the first half of two halves. Remember, these are 20-minute halves. Yesterday we had the 15-minute halves for 30-minute games. These are 20-minute halves, about a 5-minute halftime. Each team each skater can only get 5 penalties before they foul out. In addition, only 2 team timeouts and 1 official review, which is unretainable. So that's T. Cook for West Virginia.
We have Spry Bergeron with the star for Maine.
T. Cook gets pushed to the outside, or I'm sorry, the inside of the track by Peroxide. we've seen a little bit of switch in the position from how it's been the last few jams with West Virginia and this pack in the front with Maine's jammer. It's been the other way around the last few times.
Bergeron trying to muscle her way through, but that tripod of West Virginia is rock solid. Finally, she's starting to stretch it out.
She's got
2 players bridging right now.
Yeah, that's Hart.
And it looks like Hurl.
Yes. And good footwork.
And Bergeron is out. She's the first lead jammer for Maine today.
Yeah, was able to barely stay in bounds, but just enough, and tiptoe to the inside to complete the initial pass for T. Cook.
She won't have much time, though.
Well, look at that little tiptoe.
Nice
Oh,
hop on the inside.
Yeah, it wasn't an apex jump. It was more of an apex hop.
A bit of an apex
gallop.
Gallop. Yeah.
Apex gallop. Let's call it that.
She called it off in time. You know, it's funny. I'm surprised there was that much room on the inside. That's really not like West Virginia. I'm glad she had the opportunity as a fan of Maine, but I don't think they should expect to see that very often with this West Virginia defense.
No, this West Virginia defense has been very tough all week, and we saw that yesterday when they played Maryland and held them to a 7-point game. I mean, West Virginia, we've seen it. They've so much improvement. We'll talk about that in just a moment as Flux Decapitator puts on the star for West Virginia.
Maine will send Meownham down back to the line again.
Is the second. Oh, and a back block. We're going to have our first power jam of the game. Flux Decapitator head of the box, and Tawanda Woman's already in there waiting for Meow at the front of the pack. Phyllis Killer tries to deflect it. Another hit from Malice, but lead jammer. Yeah.
Meow is out, but boy, she got bounced around awful hard. There's a pretty decent job there by West Virginia to kill a significant amount of that penalty.
All they got to do really is dangle a mouse in front of her, and she'll go a lot faster.
She'll go, yeah.
Exactly. Maybe a ball of yarn.
So that's 5 points for Meow. I want to give a shout out today to Bounty of Team Maine. Bounty back at the hotel room, not feeling well today. Bounty is a huge fan of the broadcast, and she has been an incredible supporter of the Nerd Derby broadcast and the stuff that we've done. And I just want to give a shout out to Bounty.
Power jam came to a close. Flux Decapitator with the star in hand, back in. But Maine's pack not letting her through. Good footwork there by Meow. She gets through, and I believe, yes, that is another grand slam for Maine. That is 14 unanswered points so far for that team that's like that high up Northeast state.
Yeah, we're up there. We're the almost Canada state.
I thought that was Alaska.
We're both really rough. Well,
they say I'm from Ohio, so we say that about Michigan.
Yeah, it's nice to think about Alaska. It's usually typically a little colder in Alaska than it is Maine, although the last couple of weeks it has not been. So.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. So we have on the jam line, she rolls by for West Virginia. Oh, there's Maine's jammer.
Yeah, so it's hard dash on the line for Maine. Maine clawed a little closer. Meowing them down 18, Maine, West Virginia 24.
Yeah, 18 unanswered for Maine so far. They're on an 18-0 run. She rolls by, not going to be lead jammer. That is hard dash, pulling hard and getting through for lead jammer for Maine.
So dash, she comes around the front stretch. West Virginia, they've regrouped. She'll call it off. I think she'll pick up 1, maybe 2 points. It looks like 2 being held up.
Yes, she does. 2 points. So now a 20-0 run. West Virginia started out with 24. This is such a back and forth momentum. Eventually might even out. I've been saying this is going to be a good matchup. West Virginia has improved so much over the past year. Not just West Virginia All-Stars, but the West Virginia teams individually. Huge improvements. It's a privilege to have watched some of these teams do that over the past year.
That game against Maryland yesterday was so far one of my favorite games that we've seen this weekend.
Agreed. So T. Cook has the star for West Virginia.
T. Cook able to get around the backside of Assassin. She's our lead jammer.
Yeah, they needed that right now to stop the bleeding, to stop that scoring run of Team Maine. Now T. Cook approaching the pack to the inside, tiptoes on the outside of the track, 2 to beat, trying to hit it and split it. Gets through. Let's see, no points for Maine, but 2 points.
2 points. She worked up against Oxidizer and Head of Flame of the Rock Coast Rollers.
You know, in a game like this, that's so back and forth, those 2 points can be big at the end.
Well, especially when we come off the heels of watching an overtime bout, which we haven't seen. I haven't seen an overtime bout. I couldn't even think of the last time that I had been a part of one.
It's been a few years.
I don't even know if we've streamed an overtime bout.
I've called a couple, but it's been a long time. It's a rarity in roller derby, and it's honestly an honor. It's Flux Decapitator for West Virginia going to the inside now, trying to hit the outside.
It's Bergeron with the star. Bergeron from Maine roller derby.
And there's Flux Decapitator to the outside, finding the hole and picking up lead jammer West Virginia 2 in a row now for the team that is west of the other Virginia.
I've heard them say best Virginia.
Well, it rhymes.
Right. I have not spent enough time in either to know, but
I've spent about an hour in West Virginia at a Perkins in Wheeling.
not enough time to decide.
It was a nice Perkins.
Bergeron, she's pulled the star. We'll see if she tries to make the handoff. It looks like she's trying to go underneath the arms of the opposition.
Yeah, well, Flux Decapitator on a scoring pass in the pack. She's got a 3-wall in front of her, one in the box for Maine. It's Peroxide.
I don't think she's fooling anyone with that star pass.
No.
Considering Del Dangerous, who is the eligible receiver of the said star, was a good 15 feet away. So.
Well, there's a good 5 points and a grand slam. Now a 7-0 run for West Virginia over the last two jams. Peroxide comes out, says hello to Flux Decapitator. Star pass complete for Maine. And Flux is just going to call it off.
Good run by West Virginia to regain the momentum.
Maloik, I hear you too. So a timeout taken by Maine. West Virginia, there's just so much momentum in this game, so much back and forth between these two teams. I really do think it's going to come down, and you see a lot of power on these teams, but West Virginia's jammers also have that speed, and they can just utilize that at any moment to rip off a tough run.
Yeah, incredibly
and get some
consistent jammers. We've got a timeout here. Let's go down real quick through rosters. Maine All-Stars are represented by number 3, Assassin. We have Bounty, who's not here today. 925, Crazy Ness. 22, Hard Dash. 12, Head of Flame. 89-15, meowing him down. 203 is Oxidizer. Number 40 is Peroxide. 31, Velocity Raptor. 39, Sketchy Lou Weasel. 37, Spry Bergeron. Number 9 is T-Rex. 512 is Wiley. And number 7 is Zell Dangerous.
For West Virginia, number 06 Queen, number 1111, Day of Reckoning, number 12 Bossy, number 1313 Mini Hurl, number 138 Cupcake Cadaver, number 15 Lorena Vomit, number 1914 Black Eyed Dolly, number 22 Phyllis Killer, number 23 Tawanda Woman, number 29 Naughty or Nicely, number 3 Liz Vicious, number 311 Sock and Dewey, number 328 number 420 Mix Explosion, number 333 She Rolls By, number 44 T Cook, number 47 Heart, number 7 Roby, number 8 Armin Slammer, number 88 Flux, and number 888 Malice in Rollerland.
You got a little smoke coming out of the side of your mouth.
Sorry, I went into overdrive there. Forgot where I was.
Meowing him down has the star for Team Maine, and lead jammer and with the star is
she rolls by, third in a row for West Virginia. So the timeout for Maine didn't seem to really stop that momentum.
No,
nice dodge there by She Rolls By to call it off and pick up 5 more points.
Oxidizer and Assassin were not quite enough here on turn 1.
Well, when you can get that low,
2 in the box.
When you can get that low that quickly, it becomes so difficult to hit that jammer on the outside. So 1 blocker in the box.
Crazy Nest from Team Maine.
Hard Dash likes to kind of come around the track. So she's the jammer for Maine.
She does.
That would be T Cook for West Virginia.
She likes to have that little bit of momentum before that first whistle blows, and she times it quite well.
Yeah.
Often you'll see her start from a little ways back. Dash up front now, working on, well, she's had 3 blockers. 1's been called on a penalty. Hard Dash is our lead jammer. She's off to the races now, coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, 16-point run for West Virginia. Now looks like that is about to come to a close as Hard Dash comes back into the pack, hitting that 3-wall from West Virginia. 1 in the box for West Virginia. T. Cook briefly takes off the star before realizing she likes it better on her helmet. And 5 points and a grand slam for Maine and Hard Dash.
Hard Dash, she'll probably work the inside line on the backstretch now. Cuts back towards the middle. Now she's on the outside of turn 3. She's been pushed out.
Finally, it looks like T. Cook's about to get some help, but too far to the inside. Going to have to recycle back pretty far. all the way back to turn 2. Hard dash at that front of the pack. 4 wall for West Virginia. Only 1 in the box right now currently for Maine.
So Dash taking her time.
And we've got a star pass to number 22. That's Phyllis Killer, who completes the initial pass. Hard dash with the arms up. Either she's signaling a field goal or she's about to call it off.
Oh, she's going to call it off.
Okay, good. That's the appropriate sport.
So Maine now up to 30. Just a 10-point differential.
Yeah. So 10 points there. I do not picture either of these teams really pulling too far away from one another. Of course, because I said that, now I've jinxed it. My bad.
We'll see what happens. I feel like the burst advantage for points might be going towards West Virginia with the ability of their jammers to get out there. So we'll see what happens. I think Maine will put up, and as we've seen, Maine has put up consistent points in their jams. They've not had a lot of breakout jams this weekend. You know, I think for West Virginia, they've got to really, Maine has to be careful. They can't let T. Cook run away with it.
Or Flux.
Or Flux.
Or she rolls by. I mean, their jammers can just rip out of that pack, get that momentum, get that speed, and if West Virginia's blockers are on point, which they've been for most of this tournament, they're going to get some points. So 10 points, 640. I mean, this is a great way to start the day. I mean, yesterday started out great, and today started out even better.
Yeah, and it's in these long, exhausting days in a tournament, it's nice to have some amped up games first thing in the morning.
It's the fun. The fun is just so exhausting.
Yeah, it really is.
It's our currency. Currently at €8. Flux Decapitator will put on the star for West Virginia as we come back.
Looks like Wiley is in the back for Maine.
There's the whistle. 1 in the box for West Virginia, so pack advantage for Maine.
Maine's wall crumbled just a little bit there as Assassin went down. They've quickly regrouped. Oxy will drop back to be the bridge. As Flux works against Head of Flame and Assassin.
So now 1 in the box for each team. Flux Decapitator, 1 to be to the outside. West Virginia lead jammer.
Assassin and Raptor will drop back to try to help their jammer.
Yeah,
they need to focus, though, on their defense here because it didn't take long for Flux to make it back around again.
Dodge, dip, dive, duck, and derby. That's going to be 5 points and a grand slam for West Virginia and Flux Decapitator.
That was Rex. I inadvertently called Rex Raptor.
Yeah, the dinosaurs would be very angry with you right now.
Can't have that.
Fortunately, they're extinct.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, birds might have something to say about that. Star pass complete for Maine.
Yeah, Hedda came
Flux is in the pack, calls it off.
She came right out of the box and was able to grab that star pass.
It's like, thank you.
Not before 5 more points, though. Get on the board for West Virginia.
So 50 to 30. It's just over 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Box is empty. She rolls by on the jam line for West Virginia. Interesting that we haven't seen Peroxide on the jam line yet for Maine.
Yeah, you know, that's a tool in the toolbox.
I see she's out there as a blocker. But hey, that worked because now they have lead jammer.
Lead jammer with Bergeron. I think when you look at the explosive jammers for West Virginia, this might be a situation where you don't want to mess with your defense too much.
Absolutely, and if she's being effective on one side, you don't want to move her to the other necessarily.
Bergeron through and picks up 5, bringing that score down to 15 points.
She rolls by, she rolls back all the way almost to the jam line now after being hit on the outside by Peroxide. Just as we were talking about, we're pretty much getting the explanation through action. 5 points and a grand slam for Maine, 10 so far on this jam. And Peroxide called on a penalty. She's going to go to the penalty box. She rolls by, takes off the star.
That's one of those penalties where you kind of have to, it's okay to earn that penalty, I think. With you've got to play aggressive enough when you have such a great jammer that's going against you. You know, you put yourself out there and maybe you take some chances.
Got a 5-point game now after another grand slam by Spry Bergeron. Star stash works because she rolls by us out of the pack. Let's see what Spry does here. And she's going to call it. She's going to get 2, so we got a 3-point game now because I mathed it.
You mathed it.
That's 17 points for Maine in their highest scoring jam so far.
Great job by Bergeron, and I should give a shout out because I know if Bergeron's here, I know that listening at home is going to be Pops Bergeron. Popsicle.
A pack advantage to start on the next jam with 2 Maine blockers in the box and T. Cook on the jam line.
Bergeron's dad is another one of our big fans. I'm so excited that anytime he listens, I've actually got to meet him a couple of times at some of the Maine games. He and his wife, huge Nerd Derby fans.
So nobody's actually has the star on their helmet for Maine. And I don't see a star in her hand either.
I don't either. I'm wondering if
this is.
No, it is in her left hand. Oh, is it in her left hand, or does she have a?
I don't see a star.
I don't, did they forgot to field a star?
Yeah. So, okay, let's go with that.
That is an incredibly terrible.
I've never seen that happen.
I've never seen it at this kind of level of play. But
in almost 250 games, I've never seen that happen before. That's 4 points.
So they've thrown the star on the track, but I don't think that she can put that on.
No.
I don't think that that's okay.
No. I'm not going to speculate, though. T. Cook is doing a great job as she tiptoes back up the middle, picks up 5 points, and calls it off.
I don't think she needed to call it off.
Well,
but we'll find out.
West Virginia's coach is appropriately going to call an official review here.
Yeah,
because that should be a penalty, I believe, because how can you jam if you don't have the jammer star?
Right. You can. I've seen this before, and they can.
You can hold it.
Right. You can hold it, and I don't know that there's anything. I don't know if there's a rule against them not being on the track, but you certainly. I'm quite certain you can't throw the star back out onto the track.
Yeah, I don't think that's legal, but we'll find out as the officials are going to talk about it, and they know better than we do. They've memorized it. So we will find out. It is nice when they call an official review and you know exactly what they're calling the official review for.
Well, that was it's nice when it gets that obvious.
Yeah, it's like Captain Obvious showed up this morning in a rowboat.
I'm excited that the officials get to open up the rule book to some very dusty pages that they probably don't have to look at very often.
Well, at least it's not like the Necronomicon or something.
Right.
So coming up next, who we got coming up next? Let's take a look at our little brackety bracket here. And coming up next, we have New York and Michigan at roughly 10:40, followed by Pennsylvania and Ohio. And starting in the afternoon with Colorado and Virginia, the other Virginia. Not East Virginia, just Virginia.
Oh, I don't think our spreadsheet's been updated.
Someone's going to get in trouble.
No one gets in trouble.
Who's running this?
Not this one? Not me. This guy right here.
Shout out to Chad because he's been producing all these games all weekend and doing an absolutely fantastic job.
Well, you haven't watched him yet, so don't say that I've done a fantastic job.
From my opinion. I'm biased.
Well, I appreciate it.
You're also taller than me and standing right next to me.
Isn't this nice? Standing up in front of the games?
Yeah, this is a different angle.
Yeah.
Fun. It's always fun. So 12 points separate these two teams, about a minute 56, actually a minute 56 left. It's been going about 2.5 minutes, which is correct because they want to get this call right. They're all conferring.
Yeah. Our live chat is going crazy, go nuts with.
Have we had any clarifications from people on the live chat? So we're hearing from our live chat that a lot of people think this should be delay of game. We'll find out in just a moment.
But I've seen jams before where a jammer doesn't get fielded, but I've
never seen one without the pin.
I think where I've seen jams where the jammer never takes the track. But not necessarily where one takes the track without the star.
Exactly. I've seen, I mean, not very often, but here and there you see a team a little behind, the jammer doesn't get out there, maybe like a little too late. Happens every now and then. Again, just like you, this is my first time seeing that as well. So we will find out. And there's sometimes when there is a longer official review where you want it to be, because you want them to make sure that they're all on the same page, and this is one where obviously that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Only 5 penalties for each skater in these 40-minute games before the foul out. 2 20-minute halves, about a 5-minute halftime, 2 timeouts, 1 unretainable official review. No matter if you win it or lose it, you lose the official review.
For West Virginia, it's unfortunate that they called it off. I feel like, I mean, again, it's a weird scenario, so they probably didn't know, but that was definitely, or potentially, an opportunity to really run that.
Yeah, especially with T. Cook.
Right.
All their jammer rotation has been fantastic all weekend, but T. Cook has that ability to just rip off those huge runs and slip through the pack so easily and just completely cause chaos out there. So it is kind of a missed opportunity, but if they start with maybe a power jam, so let's see what happens, because I do see a jammer out there for Maine.
So in the ref lane or on the track. I see dash in the box.
Because it was thrown onto the track mid-jam, that is not allowed. You are allowed to recover.
Yeah. You cannot. So the delay of game for throwing the star onto the track.
That will go to the captain of the team to serve, not the jammer. So it will not be a power jam, and unfortunately for West Virginia, they only really have just a 1 jammer advantage.
So Bergeron has a star for Maine. We're back underway. We're going to have some more derby now.
Flux decapitator for West Virginia. Peroxide up against her, and we see the pack switching positions here now, just a jumble of humanity.
Yeah, everything lumped in on the inside of turn 1 and 2.
Looked for a second there like Flux might try to go back. Good recycle there by Flux decapitator. Looks like she could have potentially jumped the apex, but did not. So now Flux hitting the outside, getting through the pack. Can she stay in? 1 to beat, 2 to beat. That great recovery by this Maine defense, and she will get lead jammer. No, she will get a track cut.
I didn't see where she caught the track.
So now it's a power jam for Maine, and just in time as Flux sits down, the lead jammer status picked up by Spry Bergeron, who's now coming back into the pack. This is a big opportunity here for Maine, as she is definitely picking up some points as her hips have passed other hips.
Spry not having it quite as easy as she did the last time around. Flux back out on the track.
So power jam comes to a close. Flux decapitator, who did not complete the initial pass, she picked up the penalty on the initial pass, is now back out there. Spry Bergeron inside the pack on a scoring pass. Only about 3 or 4 second difference between the jam clock and the period clock. Flux forced all the way back behind Peroxide.
Benches are clear. So we have.
Oh, and get out of my way. Flux decapitator, unfortunately, didn't ride the momentum. So scoring pass, because we're now at halftime. So
3 picked up for Maine, so we'll see what happens with the score.
4 points separate these two teams, 59-55. We're going to have a brief halftime. I believe the teams will switch benches.
It says 15 minutes on the intermission, but that's probably not accurate. That's going to be about 5 minutes.
Yes, so take that one off. There we go. Now we're down to the appropriate time, and we will be back in just a few moments.
All right, we're back. I'm Chad with New England Roller Derby Report. Over here with Champ. Champ, we've seen a crazy first half so far, huh?
Yes, we have some confusion, some excitement, some more confusion, and some more excitement.
Yeah, we ended that first half, well, second to last jam, with just kind of a crazy turn of events that I would say right now, it looks to me like the ref crew is actually still kind of discussing what happened. Maine fielded a jammer but did not have the cover.
But she was acknowledged by the jam ref.
And to make matters worse, Maine, I'm sure
Threw the star out
threw the star out there. It's just kind of a knee-jerk reaction like, oh, you need this.
I can't count how many penalties that actually should have been, but of course I'm not a referee. They make those decisions, and they know better than us.
So everything came back out okay, and then after that we had a normal jam.
Yeah.
Without anything crazy happening.
And what I kind of fear in some situations is maybe, that having more of an impact on the game, especially when it comes to momentum. What can that do to the morale of the team? Fortunately for West Virginia, they have T. Cook out there to start off. Nobody in the box for either team.
And we have Meowdom down with her helmet cover for Maine.
We'd like to give a shout out to Maloik and Right Hand Man in Cleveland, Ohio. I know you guys are watching because you're blowing up my phone, which is very unprofessional. Champ unprofessional.
So Maine setting up towards the outside.
Their jammer a little bit farther back, trying to get that momentum. So there's the whistle and the second. I think that was a whistle and the second half.
Inside.
T. Cook, great footwork once again. That's what she does. You just see these feet moving all over and the hair flying in the wind, and you know she's doing something awesome.
Yeah, she really stomped hard through Maine in that opening that she found. I think there's actually dents in the floor.
Assassin with a great block. Star stash for Maine's jammer. T. Cook on that scoring pass, but Assassin just playing that inside line and not letting her through.
Meow dances around to the outside.
And makes that initial pass right, Meow. So T. Cook gets through, picks up 5, calls it off. Kind of starting off the same way that the first half started off for West Virginia with 5 points on the board. Flux Decapitator will be the jammer for West Virginia. You know it's hard dash because she just passed the pack before the whistle even sounded.
55 Maine, 64 West Virginia. West Virginia has a couple of times got away with it a little bit, but Maine's been able to chip back away to a degree. There's hard dash with the lead jammer.
And there is Flux Decapitator completing the initial pass for West Virginia. Hard dash coming in the pack hard. Oh, great hit!
She runs in, calls it off. Looked like she was making snow angels on the floor.
Yeah. Forgot where she was. That was a vicious hit by Liz Vicious.
I think, I don't believe Maine's going to get any points. I don't think she got her hips by, but boy, she called it off in time to negate any points.
No, Liz Vicious, that was a perfect timed and positioned hit. She rolls by now on the jam line for West Virginia. I believe that's Spry Bergeron for Maine.
That is Spry.
I'm Ron Bergen.
Spry has had a pretty successful day so far.
At the front of the pack and some help from the pivot. She rolls by, but there's a box. The box is empty, so there's a full 4-wall in front of her.
Maine doing a good job here defensively. They've got a 3-wall that Assassin has been bracing and moving back and forth.
Phyllis Killer was trying to help.
Head of Flame now taking that same spot from Assassin.
So pack was advantage, or the positional advantage to West Virginia, but no real advantage because these blockers are just playing so hard as we're heading into turn 2. West Virginia blocker does go to the box, so now a position or pack advantage to Maine. She rolls by with a little bit of speed, one in front. She does get lead jammer as she pulls the pack apart. So that's 2 in a row for West Virginia, but it took almost a full minute off the clock to get lead jammer.
A full minute, and they had only made it about halfway around the track.
So Spry Bergeron completes the initial pass. Good moves there, and she's going to call it off. She'll get another 4 on the board. for West Virginia. So a 9-0 run to start off the second half as we approach 16 and a half remaining in the second half of two halves, of mini games, of the third day, of Battle of the All-Stars, of the 2018th year of our calendar. And I don't know how many days of the year. Wait, I should know how many days. It would be the 13th day of 2018. It's pretty easy in January to
all of
count
that, and all you really needed to know was what the day was.
I thought that 113 was a fraction.
Meow skirts on the inside.
So that's the first lead jammer of the second half for Maine. T. Cook still inside the pack. Peroxide with a good hit and the assist by Raptor.
Maine has been able to answer T. Cook fairly well in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of power there in that pack. They know how to match up against her and make things more difficult, things that for other teams looked a lot easier. And there is Maine's jammer Meow through the pack, and that's 5 points and a grand slam. The first 5 points on the board for Maine. T. Cook takes off the star, tiptoes through, and picks up the initial pass. But 4 more points for Meow before she calls it off. So we are going to have, I believe, a 4-point game? 3-point, no, there we go, 4-point game. That would actually be 5, I was way off. Samsonite.
Meow finds her way through the pack sometimes, and you just wonder, how does she know that there's any room
Well,
for
cats
her
have
to
a
even
great
go?
sense of smell, so typically
No, it's actually,
fit through small
she
areas.
has whiskers, and that's what she uses to let her know whether there's room.
Flux the Capitator has the star for West Virginia. She's been playing great so far. Able to not stay in bounds, never mind.
We have Hard Dash for Maine. Hard Dash has been with Team Maine. I think I talked to her yesterday. I think she's been with Team Maine since the beginning. They made their first team to go down to State Wars down in Florida.
Flux gets pushed back in bounds. No pass, no penalty, but 1 to beat for Flux. She does complete the initial pass and is not lead jammer, correct. There's no pass, no penalty, and everybody falls down.
And Dash steps over the opposition, pushed out on the infield.
Well, if this West Virginia defense can play like they have been this jam with one West Virginia blocker, Cupcake Cadaver going in the box, they can still get, they've already gotten some points on this jam. Good footwork there. Yes, good footwork there by Hard Dash, able to stay in bounds.
That was just her initial
pass. So we do not have a lead jammer. So it will go the full 2 minutes and 4 points for West Virginia.
We have 49 seconds left in the jam. Dash picks up 4.
Totally untouched.
She's still, I think, for this jam, I think she's 5 behind.
At least she's 4 behind, but this could change right now as
she makes her way through, runs in hard.
No pass, no penalty, but 5 points for Hard Dash, and we're going to have a lead change. Maine taking the lead now. Flux the Capitator. And Flux the Capitator will pick up 4, so we've got another lead change. Who wants to win?
8 seconds left in the jam.
Hard Dash has to recycle. Let's see if Flux can get back there before it hits 0-1. I think she does.
Dash takes a little bit of a connection there.
And 5 more points for Hard Dash, 2 more points for Flux the Capitator. So we have a tie game. Another tie. 78-78. Just under 13 minutes remaining.
We may have a. I think we're gonna take a look at that score just to make sure that it's okay. But doesn't.
Never mind.
It was a quick check. If there was a check there at all.
So quick that it was checked. And she rolls by the pack,
out,
and picks up lead jammer. So West Virginia really needing the momentum right now. 1 blocker down for Maine. And she rolls by back in the back to the outside. Really quick pass, Peroxide. And picking up 5 points in a grand slam, West Virginia. Look how fast she's going.
She knows how much time is left in the game and how close things are.
Dodge, dip, dive, duck, and derby. 4 more points for West Virginia. So 9 points on the jam, 9-0. 87-78, still very close with under 12 minutes remaining. T. Cook's going to go out there for West Virginia, going up against Meow of Maine.
So if you want me to mainline a little bit of coffee, we got a lot of exciting things happening this morning.
In Maine, do they spell Main Street differently?
Scoreboard right now.
It depends.
Oh.
It depends on what street you're on.
So both jammers now inside the pack. Chad, of course, is our resident Maine expert, living there.
T. Cook pushed out on the outside of the front stretch here. She'll get drawn back by Assassin.
Once again, Assassin has been doing
Meow
a great job.
almost picks up a track cut, but she doesn't. She's pulled the star off her helmet. I don't know if she's already anticipating needing to hand that off.
Yeah, but they've done such a great job all game of containing T. Cook, especially really Assassin. It's like almost she's the designated T. Cook blocker.
Assassin right now effectively using
Sween in the pack.
her teammates.
Yeah, now she's just got one to beat.
Just Assassin and T. Cook. The pack stretches out. Assassin's going to have to relent. T. Cook, lead jammer.
And once Meow heard the whistle, she took off the star, but now doesn't look like she really needs to do the star pass. T. Cook unfortunately loses her position, dodge past one into the middle. Let's see what she does. She kind of got a little slow there. And with the other jammer approaching, calls it off.
Calls it off with plenty of time.
But she's only going to get 2 points. She was a little slow to get up there. You could really see how much of an impact that Assassin had on her.
Yeah.
It was like she was covered in glue or something, just sticking right to her and not letting go. So a timeout taken. Now a timeout's taken.
Now we have an actual timeout.
By Maine. So remember, coming up next, we have New York versus Michigan, followed by Pennsylvania and Ohio. And to start out the afternoon, Colorado and Virginia. You're, of course, watching Battle of the All-Stars 2018. If you thought it was something else, welcome.
Welcome, yeah.
We'll still take you.
Occasionally we'll have somebody stop in on a YouTube stream. Like if YouTube features us on the front page or something, we'll have somebody from somewhere. Usually they drop in and go, tell me what I'm looking at.
I did hear that we had some people from the Washington Redskins listening to the Team Maryland games. They actually have a skater that works for them, and she was able to hype us up and have them listen. So hello if you're listening now, and if not, okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
It is, it's early. It's not even 10:30 in the morning.
On a Saturday.
It's
Saturday, right?
Yes. So most people are sleeping or watching Derby. Either one. I'd say that's a win-win.
A bowl of cereal and some Derby on Saturday morning.
Maybe some Beerios. Never mind. And the day is ruined. So Flux Decapitator is going to have the star for West Virginia.
Hard dash. She's way down there in left field. Slowly rolling in.
She has to do a hard dash just to get back to the pack.
Yeah.
It's pretty literal. Peroxide doing a great job blocking and controlling traffic of Flux Decapitator. That's a 3-wall with one on the outside. Now moving into a 4-wall. West Virginia with the 4-wall in the back. Never mind, that's a 3-wall. So Wanda Woman heads to the penalty box.
Maine holding tight here on turn 1. Sketchy Lou Weasel bracing.
I love the look on Flux's face. She's just having fun. She accepts any challenge. She doesn't like it to be easy.
Zelda drops back with a nice offensive block, dashes out.
Flux still with a 4-wall, not getting much help. She's going to take off the star.
She goes for the handoff, but not quite able to reach. Here's Hard Dash coming out of turn 2 into the pack.
1 to beat, and she's now got 3 to beat. Never mind.
It's a quick regrouping of West Virginia jerseys there in front of her.
Absolutely great recovery. And, it looks like we're going to have a power jam now for a track cut on Flux Decapitator. So opportunity here and another 5 points for Hard Dash and Maine.
You see Maine sets up. They are waiting to make some room for Dash.
Now on the inside of the pack.
They'll hold back. We'll see how long they let her struggle. Not very long as they rush from the inside. Dash will call it off.
Thank you, Gravity.
Thank you, Gravity. Dash calls it off. Good move, frees the jammer, start with a power start. And we'll see Bergeron. Bergeron has had quite a successful run here with power starts. She had, I think she has had 2 so far this weekend and capitalized on both of them.
So 5 points picked up on that last jam. It is, excuse me, no, they will add more points. So it's a 1-point game, 10 points on that jam. Flux Decapitator is standing in the penalty box, so 10 seconds or less remaining for West Virginia's jammer, and this power starts. Spry Bergeron, 2 to beat. Bossy and Phyllis Killer as Flux Decapitator gets in, but lead jammer picked up. 1-point game. This could be the flip.
So Bergeron with some steam coming around turn 3 and turn 4.
And the star pass for Phyllis Killer.
Bergeron will have probably this one scoring opportunity. Yeah, she'll call it off.
So she will pick up 4, and we are going to have a lead change. It's now only the second time of the game. Maine takes the lead. Folks, I don't know why you're up so early, but we're glad you are. It's worth it. Actually, we do know why you're up so early. It's to watch this. You know, you set your alarm.
Yeah.
Obviously. If you're on the West Coast, that's impressive. If you're in Alaska, even more impressive.
Both teams really, you know, you can tell the gelling in both teams over the weekend now, having played a couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams really in their groove today.
Well, with West Virginia, they also, many of them play for West Virginia Roller Derby. Several teams have come together to form that WFTDA team. So they are, and a track on us, she rolls by. So another power jam for West Virginia.
Meowing them down.
So just as I'm complimenting, you know, that happens.
So Maine here sets up to try to make some room for Meow.
Oh, nice hit there.
I think we almost look like we lost a piece of equipment there. It looked like a mouth guard popped out, but I don't see anything on the track, so that must have been just my old, worn-out eyes.
Steph Curry is not currently out there. Meow back inside the pack. On another scoring pass. Now they are up by 8 after that 5-point grand slam on the last pass. To the inside, tiptoes through, and that's going to be another 5-point grand slam as the power jam comes to a close.
I'm surprised that Meow didn't take the opportunity to call off that jam. She was pretty close, but she does have plenty of time where there has no initial pass been made by Charolles.
Ooh, that couldn't have felt good. And the initial pass, she calls it off, but the momentum is absolutely in Maine's favor right now. West Virginia looking like they're starting to get a little tired out there. Drink a Monster. Or something.
It's moments like these that you really get to see what a team is made of when you're sort of behind the 8 ball without much time left.
I believe it's 80% water.
80%. Yeah. Most teams, 80% water. Except by the end of it, there's a lot less. There's a lot less water.
A little more steam.
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 Yeah. Effervescing.
Well, this building smells terrific, I'll tell you that.
Assassin. And I see her. She's embraced right now with, I could see Oxidizer and Head of Flame. I can't quite see who's on the other side. Having a quick, calming chat. Or they're trying to organize the rides home. I don't know. I can only assume it's probably game-related.
Well, remember, the winner plays tonight at 8. We'll play North Carolina tonight at 8. The loser will play Tennessee tomorrow at 8. 1 8 p.m., 1 8 a.m.
One of those is a much more desirable time of day.
One means you're going to the after party. The other means you're not.
Hard dash rolls around the corner.
And Phyllis Killer will have the start for the first time for West Virginia. I'm going to try to throw a changeup at them. Oh, and a cut track on hard dash. An opportunity here for West Virginia. Now a little hole, 1 to beat. She's through with lead jammer Phyllis Killer. Able to stay in bounds after deflecting the hit. This is the time that they needed with under 5 minutes remaining. West Virginia's jammer Phyllis Killer in the pack, dodging past 1, able to stay in, hit it and split it. 5 points and a grand slam, West Virginia.
Plenty of time on the clock to try to get back in there.
Only 12 points separating these two teams, still very much open dodging to the outside, going right past that same blocker, now getting some assistance. T. Cook with the pivot cover.
Dash is back out on the track. Star in her hand. We'll see if she looks for Head of Flame. She don't think so. She's going to just keep on going.
Phyllis Killer is going to call it off after picking up another Grand Slam. So 10 points. And West Virginia will be just below the century mark.
Just below 100.
Just a teensy little 1 point below the century mark. So 7 points separating these two teams. Under 4 minutes remaining. Flux Decapitator, the veteran, going up against Spry Bergeron, another veteran. Most players of this caliber are veterans.
And we have Assassin in the box.
So slight pack position, words are hard. Pack advantage for West Virginia, but they're still giving Flux a really hard time, as they really have been most of the second half. Spry getting some momentum, and Flux Decapitator not able to stay in bounds after a good hit.
Big rollback by Zell Dangerous.
Yeah, great.
Peroxide tries to take that opportunity to do a little assistance for Bergeron. Doesn't get anywhere with that. And a big hip by Peroxide.
But Flux Decapitator will pick up lead jammer. That's exactly what they need right now, and they need some points on the board as Spry Bergeron goes stealth mode to the inside to the outside.
There's Flux, she'll come through. It looks like she'll probably pick up her 5 points here in a second. She does.
She does. She stays in. Peroxide trying to hit her out. They're able to pass her, but she's able to get through and pick up 5 points. Now going to call it. So, folks, we have a 2-point game as we're approaching 2.5 minutes remaining. The best games happen in the mornings. Good derby happens in the morning. The early bird catches the worm, so to speak.
Especially today.
Yes. We're catching two worms.
Both of these games this morning have been just phenomenal.
We didn't kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The bird actually got 2 worms because it was early.
Right.
That's a terrible analogy. I'm never using it again. She rolls by with the star for West Virginia. We have Meow for Maine. And she rolls by with the track cut.
Meow picks up the lead jammer designation.
That's the worst possible time for West Virginia to get that penalty.
Best possible time for Maine. That all depends on who you want to win, I guess.
So, yay for Maine, but for West Virginia.
So, Meow dancing through.
Good blocking, though, right here by West Virginia.
Maine gets all their blockers now. Meow with a little bit of room.
That's 5 points in a Grand Slam, adding to that lead. It's all really going to come down to this last jam, it looks like. Unless, of course, Meow rips off a big run here, which is always possible. Full 4-wall.
So Assassin, we have a penalty picked up on Meow.
So we're going to have another power jam. It's going to go the full 2 minutes. She rolls by through the pack, completing the initial pass before Meow even could take a seat. So just as you think that Maine has that momentum to carry it into the end, suddenly she rolls by, rolls through the pack, 1 to beat. Tiptoes, staying in bounds, and picks up 5 points in a Grand Slam for West Virginia. Again, down to a 2-point game. She rolls by in the pack.
Hedda will draw her back.
Meow standing in the box. Now a blocker goes to the box for West Virginia. She rolls by tiptoe and staying in bounds. Power jam comes to a close.
And Charolles is going to get drawn back again.
But there's 5 points in a Grand Slam for Meow with time winding down. 20 seconds. She rolls by, has to get through here as Meow goes through again and picks up another 5 points. West Virginia losing that momentum of the power jam due to some great defense by Maine. Wow, look at that move.
One more time. Trying to put some more icing on the cake. And we have an official review called, so we'll probably get one more jam.
Yeah, only 17 points separate. So it's still, it could still happen. We just saw a 20-point jam from Meow.
Really great work by the Maine defense to.
Do you want to bet who's going to be jamming for West Virginia?
I'm
going to say it rhymes with E-hook.
I think you're probably right. So, Maine not necessarily would have rolled over having had that last power jam against them.
So
But
I was wrong. It looks like it's going to be Phyllis Killer with the star.
okay, Phyllis Killer. No, we just saw Phyllis like two, 3 jams ago.
I'm Jon Snow. I know nothing. I'll take it.
Now we have some conversations going over at the scoreboard, scorekeeper's table.
I'm just making this up as I go. I don't know.
Captain Dash having some conversations with the officials. She might have been asking for another 10 or 20.
Excuse me, can you give me 20 points, please?
Yeah,
Somebody gives her a $20 bill. No.
I don't want your money. I just want the points.
I only accept it in Bitcoin.
I'll take the theory.
I'm one of 2 vendors that accepts Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The other is Overstock.com. Or something like that, I don't know.
I think the first item purchased with Bitcoin was a pizza.
That's a good item to purchase.
For 3 Bitcoin. That's a pretty expensive pizza right now.
Right now, I think that would go for about $45,000. That better be a good pizza.
So one more jam. We have Meowing them down with the star for Maine.
And Phyllis Killer for West Virginia.
West Virginia has 1 defense in the box. We have our whistle.
Here we go, final jam. If Meow's through first, it's over. If Phyllis Killer gets through first, it's tougher.
That lead jammer designation so important right now.
1 to beat, and it is Phyllis Killer picking up lead.
Phyllis Killer, but Meowing them down is out as well.
And she's past her. So what can Phyllis do? She's got to trust her pack. That's the only thing she can do right here is trust her defense with 1 in the box.
She's got to hope that Meow picks up a penalty.
And Phyllis Killer inside the pack now on her scoring pass. Both jammers on a scoring pass, but this really only helps Maine. I don't know if West Virginia can really do it unless there's a power jam. 4 points for West Virginia, but some great blocking. That's the only way they can do it right now.
Yeah, so far West Virginia's doing that as Meow is only now just getting through. She's picked up 4 as well.
But there's another 4 for West Virginia, so they had a little advantage in the points here.
Yep.
But with time winding down, you got to get the great defense. 1 in the box for both teams.
You have to keep going, hoping that the opposition picks up a penalty that you can take advantage of. And so that's just what's happening. We'll see jammers racing around. Or it'll just get called off.
That is the game. Great game, 8-point game, 134-126. Maine wins and will face North Carolina at 8 p.m. West Virginia will not be going to the after party, or maybe they will. I heard there's a mechanical bull. And they will be facing off with Tennessee at 8 a.m. tomorrow in their final game. So don't forget, coming up next, we have New York versus Michigan.
I'm so excited for that game.
Followed by Pennsylvania versus Ohio and Colorado, Virginia. You know, there's one matchup I always want to see that I rarely get to see here. It's Ohio, Michigan. And that's just as an Ohioan, I like to always see those 2 states play each other, but I'm biased.
All right, so we're going to go talk about MVPs.
Yes, absolutely, and we'll be back in just a couple of moments after watching this fantastic game between West Virginia and Maine. Of course, Maine coming up on top, 134-126. I'm Champ Unkind.
And I'm Chad.
And we'll be right back. side. I'm Champagne Kind now with Naughty or Nicely, the MVP from West Virginia. So that was a really hard-fought game. How do you feel?
I'm really, really tired, but it was awesome. I love Team Maine.
Yeah, that was a great game, hard hit. So how did you guys keep it so close? There was a lot of good matchups. Why do you think it was so close in the end?
I have no idea because we're all really tired. I mean, we all come out here, give our best, super high intensity, and just beat the crap out of each other, and it's amazing.
So I've seen a huge improvement from West Virginia over last year to this year. What do you think the biggest reason for that improvement is?
We still have like all the core skaters that we had last year, and we've been working together all year long, and it's enabled us to grow and really work together as a team.
Do you plan on trying out the mechanical bull at the after party tonight?
Hell yeah!
Up for the challenge. Naughty or Nicely, congratulations, MVP Team West Virginia. Have a decent day.
Thanks.
And you have
All right, Spry, this game that you just played, there were a few times you guys were behind by a fair amount, but you guys really stayed calm. Tell me about how do you guys go out there in a situation like this and stay calm?
We just all remind each other that there are so many ups and downs in Derby that you just keep riding it like a wave, and eventually it will even out. And fortunately, it evened out the way we planned and tried for it today. So.
Now, we saw a weird thing before the half. The helmet cover gets flung out on the track. I think we had to go back to we had to open up parts of the rule books that we didn't know anything about. What did you guys? Did you discuss that as a team afterwards?
We just knew that we made a really big mistake by not giving our jammer her helmet cover, and then I'm not sure who threw the penny from our bench, but as soon as we saw it, all the bench was like, no, don't do that because that's not allowed. And fortunately, they sorted it out. We took that team penalty and made the most of it when Dash got out of the box as our captain. So.
Well, it was a fantastic recovery. You guys did an excellent job today, and you were our selection for hands down most valuable player today for your win today over West Virginia. What do you guys do now to get ready for your next game?
We're going to eat some food, drink a lot of hydrating fluids, take a nap because we have that 8 p.m. game tonight, and hopefully our teammate who is ill, Bounty, we missed her on the track, but we felt her presence. We're hoping that if she feels well enough to be here, we get to play one more game with her tonight, and we're really just going to go have fun chilling together before we come back for our nighttime gig.
All right, thank you so much for coming over. Thanks for playing today. It was great to watch you guys. It was such great entertainment. We'll be back with our next game. We're going to have New York versus Michigan in just a few minutes.